Sometimes different words, different phrases will mean different things based on your age, right? So, Abby, when I ask you at 26 years old, what does out of pocket mean?
It means if you're being a little outrageous, if you're being a little too much.
A little too much, a little unhinged, right?
A little unhinged.
That's what most millennials think that phrase means when it doesn't. You guys have redefined that word.
That's not what I think it means.
What does it mean?
I think it means when you have to pay for something yourself.
Out of pocket.
You come out of pocket for it.
Okay, that's another good one, right? So there are 3 different definitions now of this statement. And you will answer differently based on your age. Because, Cassie, you're how old?
38.
Okay, those are 2 right there.
My boss, every time she's going to be out of the office for a portion of the day, not the whole day, but like for a doctor's appointment or something, she'll say, so I'm going to be out of pocket today from 1 to 2. And it just cracks me up every time because it's like, what you going to get up to, girl?
That's funny.
So out of pocket for me means you can't reach me right now. For the next 2 hours, I'm out of pocket.
Really?
What?
Yes.
I didn't even know that was. I didn't even know that was another definition.
Tommy, is that what it means to you too?
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard all the ones that have been said. I've heard it said that way.
My favorite is there's a Gen Zer online who has posted about at her work, and she works with a lot of boomers, but it's like a very like supportive culture. And so she teaches them phrases to use to sound younger, like what out of pocket would really mean, or like that slaps or yeet or what have you. And in return, she'll say, how do I tell this person to F off, this isn't my job? And they translate her stuff into corporate speak for her. So it's a two-way translation.
Right?
So she gets how to like,
Isn't that funny?
thank you. This really isn't in my lane at the moment, and I don't have the capacity to take on this project, but let me reroute you. Like, so they'll do that for her, and I just think it's the cutest like work relationship ever.
All right, in this email here, this should be a slam dunk. There must be a detail here that I haven't read. Well, mostly because I haven't read the email. Because this should be simple. Her godmother backs into her car, so now she's all sketched out about asking the godmother to fix the car. Mo's got the email.
Dear Bert Show, I'm a huge fan. I listen to your show every morning on my way to work. Anyways, I am writing you about my godmother, and my car. Let me explain. My godmother and I are pretty close, sending cards to each other every holiday and usually going out to dinner once a month. I just bought this car, and since I am only 20, it was a big deal for me. Unfortunately, the other day, we were going out in a hurry, and she backed her car into my brand new 2023 car. The damage was minimal, but there are black scratches on my white paint and the front bumper has some damage. Of course, my godmother apologized, but I just brushed it off because we were late to something important. I honestly don't know how I didn't flip out and kept my cool. In all honesty, I was screaming on the inside. I didn't even check the damage until I got home. I didn't want to make her feel bad or uncomfortable. With that said, it's the next day, and now I really want to get my car fixed, but I feel bad for wanting to ask her to pay for it. I'm not a person that's good at asking for things or to bring up confrontation, especially when it comes to money. Overall, the whole situation is crappy, and I don't want to hurt her feelings or seem grubby over such little damage. I just want my car to be fixed. But I am not in a financial situation to get it fixed myself.
And even a couple of scratches are going to be expensive.
Especially on her, as she says in capital letters, brand new 2023 car.
I thought about just calling my insurance, but unfortunately, I don't think I can afford the insurance increase. I would appreciate any advice you have about talking to her to resolve the situation. Thank you in advance. You are all awesome. Kim.
This just seems like basic communication to me.
Is anybody else miffed that the godmother has not offered to pay for said damage?
Absolutely.
When she was the one who hit the car?
Yep.
I am a godmother to multiple kids. If I hit one of their cars, I'm immediately hitting them up and being like, hey, let me, like when you take this to the mechanic or the body shop, let me know how much this is going to cost and I will take care of it because I was the dumbass that backed up into your car.
Right. The godmother dumbass has not made that offer yet. So the reality is, how does she go and ask her for the cash?
Well, maybe and I completely agree with you, but maybe in the godmother's defense, she because they didn't check on the damages and she didn't bring up any damages, maybe she thinks she just tapped it and really nothing came of it. So then at that point, it's on you because you got to bring it up. Even if it is uncomfortable, you have to say, hey, there were some damages on the car. As much as I hate that this happened and we're in an unfortunate situation, I can't afford to pay for it, and I'm going to need you to step up and, help me out since you caused the damages. That's simple.
Seems pretty obvious.
Yeah, that's a good point. She may not even realize that actual damage was done. So I think all you got to do is bring it up to her. And you don't even really have to get your own personal pocketbook finances into the situation. Just say, hey, can I get your insurance information? And we can just have our agents deal with it.
Slam it dunk.
Maybe she doesn't have the money. I was thinking about this, and if this happened with my parents, I could see my parents not wanting to pay for it.
And they wouldn't say anything?
And they wouldn't say anything. It would be like you've got the money or you've got insurance, and I know that I wouldn't want to put that on them. I would just pay for it myself.
You can't assume that, though. You don't know that. I would probably go, she just doesn't know how bad it is. You got to at least make the ask here. And then if she says, I am so sorry, I can't afford it either, then you got a different problem.
And then I'll be like, Godmother rights revoked.
Give me the card.
What I'm saying is our listener would know if that's the case, if she doesn't have the money to do it. And if that were the case, I would just let it go.
I'm not letting that
Well,
go.
you shouldn't be going around hitting other people's cars and you ain't got the money to fix it.
Did it on purpose. Right. All right, Abby, there is a disturbing trend on TikTok right now, and relationships are in the balance.
Well, it wasn't disturbing until we saw this video on TikTok. But yeah, there's a new trend going around that has got my friend freaking out. She thinks she's going to lose her boyfriend over it. So it's this thing called the girlfriend effect. And the girlfriend effect is essentially this theory that when men get into relationships with women, they have a huge glow up. So people have been sharing on TikTok their boyfriends before they got in the relationship and then once they got into the relationship. And I have to say, the results are harrowing because these men look so fine. Because I've been wondering, where are y'all finding these people? Turns out they're just fixer-uppers.
Yeah, I think this is accurate. I think most women start to have an influence on their dudes' fashion and hair and everything else. And dudes eagerly just go ahead and fix me. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Tell me what to wear. And so essentially, it looks like that's what's been going on. So we both followed this same scientist on TikTok that I've talked about on here a couple of times. His name is Mac and Murphy. He has degrees from everywhere, and he's just super smart when it comes to relationship data. So she saw this TikTok, and after listening to it, she is now terrified that because her boyfriend kind of glue up after they got together, that she's about to lose him.
This is a risky play, strategically. And to understand why, we need to look back at the work of psychologist Daniel Conroy Beam, which argued that relationship satisfaction is an internal regulatory variable. Should I tell my coworker I have a girlfriend? Should I like that girl's picture on Instagram? Should I buy my girlfriend flowers, right? The answers to questions like these in a man's mind depend partially on his level of relationship satisfaction. And Conroy Beam's experimental work found that a person's relationship satisfaction, in this case your boyfriend's relationship satisfaction, is likely largely contingent on his mate value relative to yours, right? Like if you're a 7, and most people think they're above average, so that probably resonates with you. If you're a 7 and he's a 6, well, he's probably stoked to be with you. But if you upgrade his appearance and now he's an 8, well, other 8s are now interested in him. For most people, if they can do better, they're less likely to be satisfied, less likely to treat you well, and more likely to stray. So please upgrade your man with caution.
So basically, keep him fugly is what we're supposed to do.
Right? You're supposed to do just the opposite. Right?
Yeah, he's essentially saying now that he's got more options, he's going to bounce. So she messaged me and she's like, Abby, I think I girl bossed a little too close to the sun here and turned my boyfriend into a hot man. And while it's been great for me, I'm a little worried. She's now a little insecure that, now that he's kind of hot, like he might be realizing maybe he could do a little better. I said, Queen, no, you're 10, but that's not, obviously you can't influence how she feels.
All right, so let's not just automatically assume everything is based on looks. However, you do upgrade your man, he is probably going to get more looks than he was before you got your nails into him.
Yeah, because people are, as far as appearances go, yes, men are more visual, but women also have eyes. So we can be visual as well. And yeah, you're going to get noticed.
I've also heard it said that you can only be as loyal as your options are. So like when you look at rock stars and stuff and you see all the options that they have to choose from and all the temptations that they normally have, I can understand I mean, he's not a rock star or anything, but like all of a sudden you turn into an 8 and there's a whole new world of 8s in front of you. I could see how she'd be a little worried.
I've also heard women talk about this beyond like just looks and like emotionally and things like that, where you kind of help a man advance in those areas and then he goes and be the guy that you wanted him to be for the new girl that he never was for you.
How many times have I heard this from a woman that I'm always the one that he dates right before he finds the right one?
100%.
Like, he should give me credit for that, right?
Yep.
The Bert Show.